Now, on to the show. Let's introduce our first speaker. Peter got his start in franchising in 1974 with Century 21. He bought the rights to Canada, and at its peak exceeded 400 offices, employing over 8,000 sales agents. He created Life Pilot in 2002, which he taught to CEOs all around the world. And although he recently celebrated his 80th year, he took a personality test recently that told him he was 26. So if you know Peter, that's pretty spot on. He's also fortunate to have a wonderful co-pilot in his life, Rita. And Peter soaks up every minute of life. And if you ever spend any time with him, you know he's very contagious. He was the catalyst for the acquisition of Dogtopia and the inspiration for the vision of what Dogtopia could be. So, two truths and a lie. I have run with the bulls in Spain. I have jumped out of an aircraft. And I have run the New York Marathon. Is it number one? Number one's the lie? Is it number two, the lie? Is it number three? The three's the lie? Gotcha! Number one is the lie. With that said, please welcome Peter Thomas.
And Alex. I'm telling you. Well, welcome, everybody. It's so great to have you. It's so great to be here, to have you here. And last night was truly inspirational for me. Looking around at all the happy faces and the expectance and the future. I feel as proud today as I have ever felt of an organization, and so pleased and happy that I kind of made this decision so many years ago to get involved in the dog business. I want to welcome you to the Valley of the Sun in our third year since we acquired the full-time, all the shares of the company. And I want to sort of share with you, I thought, a few thoughts to each one of you as individuals, because life is a very interesting journey. But before I start that, I want to tell you about, have you ever all heard of the Concorde airplane, the Concorde? Well, it was a supersonic plane that they built and several years ago, and they were going to try and get it into service. And it was the only supersonic plane go faster than the speed of sound for commercial travel. And they announced one day that they were giving it up, that they couldn't afford to keep this plane flying. So I thought, oh my God, I can't let my life go by without an opportunity to fly on the Concorde. So I flew over to London, and bought it from London to New York. And I was so hypersensitive. I'm supersonic flight, and I was so excited about it. I only went to London to fly the plane back. So we get in there, and we go to a small room, and it was British Airways, and they treated us like kings. Everybody in that plane, I think, was a lot stronger financially than I was at that time. They were all wanting to take one of these last flights. So the expectancy level was very high. So they give us a glass of champagne, then they said, okay, we're getting ready, got into the plane. It was very narrow, 2 seats on each side, and like a long Lear jet is what it was like. And so we get in, they say, we're going to take off. They fasten the seatbelts like it was a normal takeoff, and the plane takes off. And I'm sitting there, but by God, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be unbelievable. And it sort of comes up, and it curves off, and the motor's kind of quit working, going to cruise control, and I'm like, oh my God, did I give up this weekend for this? Is this what it is? And unbuckle your seatbelts. Would you like a glass of champagne? And I'm thinking, I already messed up here. So about 5 minutes later, the girl comes up. She takes all the champagne away from me. She said, captain says, buckle your seatbelts. Get ready for supersonic flight. Like, wow, what's this? Engine started to shake. And then we're like about 35,000 feet. Engine starts to shake, and the plane goes, just took off again. It went up to 52,000 feet. When you look out the world at 35,000, 40,000 feet, it's flat. When you look up at the world at 52,000 feet, it's curved. There's a whole different view at 52,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, strap on your seatbelts. With Dogtopia, get ready for Concorde flight. Get ready to look at the world a different way. Look at business a different way, and look at your organization a different way, because we are going into supersonic flight. While we're on this shared Dogtopia journey together, we're also together on a journey of life. And right now in life, chaos is ruling. It's ruling politically, economically, socially, and environmentally. Things are just like crazy. You know, wow, what a time to be alive in. It's just crazy. So how, in a game like this, it's very difficult to make a one-year plan, let alone a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, because things are changing all the time. And I want to talk about how we can stay with a plan and how to be successful with a plan like that and dealing with some of those issues. How can we become rocks in the storm? Well, the one way that I've always kind of dealt with myself, looking backwards through life, is that we all have, each one of us, some inherited gifts. And I'm going to call them, you get dealt a deck of cards in life. And there you are. You got maybe a couple aces, maybe a few tens, maybe a queen, maybe a couple of deuces, whatever they are, you're dealt with those cards in life. And these are, what you got dealt with, you have no control about. Like things like this, where you were born, who your parents were, the wealth of your parents, how tall you are, how short you are. And while some of us got lucky, you know, maybe we say, oh, we got lucky, we got some gifts. Those advantages, they're still luck of the draw. They're just a luck of the draw. So you got to play with the cards you get. Now, what you do individually with those gifts is entirely up to you. What you do with those gifts, the cards that you got dealt with yourself. Questions like who you marry, huge, like decision-making things. What career you want to pursue, where you're going to work, whether you're going to have children, where you're going to live, what you're going to spend your money on, whether to exercise, whether to watch TV with your time or not watch TV, what to eat, to get more education. The list is endless, how you get to play those cards, because you all get 13 cards. It's just how you each one will play those cards you get. And to oversimplify, I'm going to say that today, here, right now, sitting with me, you've got two choices. Understand the cards that you're dealt with and decide how to play your hand. And understand how those two relate to each other. For example, if you're 5 foot tall and you want to be an NBA basketball player, think about it again. You know, like be practical with what your gifts are, okay? Now, I think we can agree on this, that if you play a good hand poorly, you end off badly. But if you play a poor hand perfectly, you can end up pretty well. Would you all agree with me on that? So our only decision is to understand what cards we've been dealt with and play them well. Now, the challenge we've got with that is our minds aren't rational. Our minds make excuses for us, and they protect our egos. So it's easy to say, well, so-and-so, they're not that great. Oh, he was just lucky. Her parents were rich. That's why she's successful. He got a better break than me. These are all things, self-talk, that we say to ourselves. And it's soothing, but it's also very destructive. It's a subtle and subconscious focus on what you can't control, and it offers you a convenient excuse for not getting the results from the things that you do control. Now, what I've always been a believer in myself throughout my life, I've set small, stretch goals, just a little bit past what I've got right now. Like, for example, when I first made $10,000 in 1 month, I remember I was a salesman selling mutual funds. So I'm sitting on the bed with my wife, with the check between us. I said, I can't believe I did that. I just can't believe I did that. $10,000 in 1 month. You know what? I broke that 3 months later with about $12,000. So once you make 10, the next 10 is easier because all the things that you did in work to make that first 10, it's that first 10 that's the real toughest. If you make 100,000, the next 100's easier. And you've all heard the saying, all heard the saying that my first million was the toughest. That's the truth. Because you develop the habits, the right habits, the things to continue to make you successful. And in this journey we're taking together, I want you to focus on creating the habits for yourself that make you successful. You saw 5 or 6 or 7 million-dollar stores in this room. Well, $1 million is success in this business, all the way. You've got teachers right in this room with you that teach you how to attain what you want to attain. They look pretty happy. They look pretty contented. Let me tell you, I've seen them all looking pretty pale at times. So it's not all just easy a piece of cake. It's hard work, it's habits, it's discipline, it's all those different things. You know, what you got to watch your brain from doing is giving you an out. your intelligence. Say, we can't do this. It's too hard. I won't, we can't compete. Don't let your brain tell that to you, because it's an escape from reality, and it's also comforting and limiting. So, for example, I remember once that they interviewed Bette Midler, and they said to Bette, Bette, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate yourself? Bette said, 15. That's how I want you all to rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10. You're a 15. You're confident, you're strong, and that's what you got to be to succeed. My experience in life has been that anything worth having is not easy. But I can tell you, from getting on the other side of some things, it's been very exciting, and I'm going to share some of them with you. But a story that inspired me. You've all heard of. Has anybody here not heard of Tom Brady? We've all heard of Tom Brady, quarterback for the NFL, the New England Patriots. He's had a career that's included 5 Super Bowl wins, 4 MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs, 2 league MVPs, and he's rated amongst the best quarterback of all time. Brady was so lightly regarded a prospect coming out of college, he was selected by the New England Patriots as the 199th draft pick in the 6th round of the NFL. Now imagine, and by the way, since then, he's played his entire career with the Patriots. He never played for anybody else. But imagine this guy. They picked number 1 draft pick. And Brady thinking, he's a pretty cocky kid out of college. Number 2, number 3, number 4. 199 times people said, this guy's not going to make it. So who are you going to let tell you you're not going to make it? You won't find 199 people. So you can make it. The only difference, there's only one person who thought Tom Brady would make it. Who do you think that was? That was Tom Brady himself. He had that confidence. He looked at his deck of cards. He actually was a skinny, tall kid when they picked him. So the team saw this skinny, gangly, tall kid who grew into this unbelievable, colossal human being. How? By luck? By working day and night in the gym? By practicing as hard as he could to become who he is today, one of the most famous, sports athletes in the world. So don't look at what you are. Always keep that vision on what you can become. I wasn't going to tell you this, but Rita said to me tonight, this morning, she said, honey, wasn't last night fabulous? All the people, the excitement in the room and everything else, And I say this in modesty and humbleness. That's what I saw 3, 4, 5 years ago. I saw this, that visualization. I can see this industry just growing. I can see us being the number 1 in the country. And all I got to do is surround myself with people who can see the same thing. And bless all of you here, and bless all the team that Alex said, and Alex and everybody in the team, because we do all see it. We all see this going to be just explode in the marketplace. So have that vision in mind that we can do it. Don't look at that skinny little Tom Brady. I mentioned up there I ran the New York Marathon. Well, in order to practice for the marathon, the New York Marathon, but in order to practice for it, you have to spend a little time. And I remember in Victoria, British Columbia, where I lived, I'd run on the ocean. And it was kind of scary at night on the ocean, had bushes beside the road, and you figured all those guys are going to attack you and things like that, So what am I going to do? I got to run my 5, 6, 10 miles a day to practice to run the marathon. And I remember I said to myself, you know what? Pretend that you're in the Olympics. Just pretend that you're practicing for the Olympics, not the New York Marathon. And when you come out of those trees, you're coming to the stadium, and people can see, and they're gonna the newspapers and all the announcers are saying, "Who is that? Who's that leading the New York Marathon?" I'd come out of there. That's Peter Thomas. I'd run that New York Marathon every night for so many nights in my mind. And that's what you need to run. Who's got that store making $500,000? We're going to make $500,000. When are we going to break that $500,000 a year barrier? That's $700,000. That $1 million store. And keep that focused in your mind as hard as you can. Another story I'm going to just share with you, but I have a coach, and some of you have met Coach Tony Jerry. But Tony's the coach of the presidents of Walmart, Mitsubishi, New York Life, Firestone, Shell Oil, and a myriad of other companies. And they know Tony as the results guy. He lives in Dallas, Texas. I met Tony a few years ago, and he told me his shtick and told me what he did. And I thought, gee, this is a good guy. I said, Tony, how much do you charge for, a day of coaching? Tony says, $15,000. I said, $15,000 for, one day coaching? That's unbelievable. And I thought to myself, any guy that's got the jam to charge $15,000 to negotiate. He must have something to say. So I thought, you know what? So some of our team here, we went down to Dallas for a day and listened to Tony. Well, Tony taught me quite a bit, but the only thing that I remember really strongly are 3 words that will, I'll tell you, change the way I look at the world. So I'm going to save you guys $15,000. And I'm going to share those 3 words with you. Those 3 words are clarity, focus, and execution. Every single time you look ahead to make a decision on anything, get clarity, then focus on what you want to create, and then the execution. And the execution part is the easiest. You know, in life, we all get opportunities come along, and sometimes we pass them, say, you know, no, pass, or we do them, or we don't do them. But every once in a while, and I think that some of you in this room here right now have that opportunity, and I call it's betting the farm and playing your hand. You're in, you're in. There is no back door. We're in this thing, and we're in it to win it. Well, let me just tell you a bit about the Century 21 story, because Alex mentioned to you that when I bought the rights for Canada. We know, I went down and bought the rights for Canada, and I negotiated. I thought I'd hit the home run. I thought, you know, the best thing in the whole world that ever happened to me. It was unbelievable, and I was so excited about it. So I went around, and I talked to my bank, and my bank said, well, how does that work? They're all going to wear gold jackets, and they're going to, tell me that again? No, we're not interested in financing that. So then I thought, well, you know what, I'll talk to a partner. I had a partner of mine because I wanted to raise some money. And I said, let's deal, it's so exciting, I don't see it, I don't get it. I could not find anybody that would believe that company would work. Nobody. And I had some pretty good people around me. And so I thought to myself, well, you know, maybe it won't. Maybe I see this thing wrong. I went back and looked at all my stuff, you know, what I bought with me, read the books over again, said, you know what? I said, they're all wrong. They're just all wrong. So I went back to my own accountant, and I said, he always wanted to do deals with me. I said, tell you what, you put up $100,000, and I'll give you 25% of this company. You put $100,000 up, lend it to the company. We'll use that $100,000 to get started. This is, you know, like 1974. And I said, you're in. He thought, and he's an accountant. He's a smart man, right? He thought about it and said, you know, Peter, I'm not going to do it. Well, that $100,000, a loan, not even investing it, just a loan, he'd have got it back. But that $100,000 was worth $12.5 million when I sold the company. His $100,000, you know, and he chose not to do it. So that told me, be careful when you get advice. Sure, be careful who you go to for the advice. You know, get special people to advise you. But that was one where we bet the farm. And the first thing I did with the company got started, we got shut down by the Securities Commission. They were told me I was selling securities without a license. You know, so another reason, oh my God, you know, this is wrong. I won't make it. It won't work. So what do? I just said, you know what? I'm going to get a lawyer. We're going to get at it, and we're going to win this thing, and we're going to knock it out of the park. And I just never looked back, and we did. So it's that belief in yourself. Look at those cards you've got. You play your hand. Have we got everything here? That's through the clarity process. Well, once you set sail and you're in the ocean, it's no time to start getting clarity. That's when you want focus and execution. So we're all in the boat here together. We're in the boat, and we're going, and we're rocking, and we're going for the moon. You know, another quick story about Westover Hills. I bought a project. It came to me once. It was in San Antonio, Texas. 1,276 acres of land that I could get to buy from Resolution Trust. $9 million. They'd spent about $60 million on the project. I could buy it for $9 million. So I went down and I said, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So I went around and I negotiated to buy it, put $300,000 down, and going to close in 90 days. When 90 days come up, I'd raised about $1 million towards the $9 million I needed. So I said to him, you know what? I still believe in it. I'll let 100,000 of the 300,000, they call it in the real estate business, going hard. I'd lose it if I didn't do the deal. Didn't get it together. I raised I went raising $4.5 million. So I was $4.5 million short a month before I closed. I let the next $100,000 go. I'm on my last $300,000, the last 100 on that deposit. And I thought, you know what? I think this is a deal of a lifetime. And I really didn't have any supporters. because they wouldn't give me any money. I mean, all my big guys wouldn't give me any money. So I bet the farm again. I just bet the farm. We closed it. That was in 95, about 1990. That project has yielded for the investors $150 million from the 9. And like I could see it, it was there, but I couldn't convince anybody else. So sometimes you only can convince yourself, but it's believing in yourself. And as I look back, I want to give you the benefit of just living this blessed life I've had, is to share that with you, is don't ever shake your belief in yourself. You are who you are, and God bless you. And believe in that, and don't try and let people chip at you, because they will. That just life will chip at you. So remember, clarity, focus, and execution. And remember, I'm a pretty good salesman. Why couldn't I convince these people? Why couldn't I convince them, that of the merit of these two extraordinary opportunities? Well, there's a story about 3 blind men and an elephant. A man said to these 3 blind men, what I want you to do is each of you tell me what an elephant looks like. So one blind man, he goes and looks at the elephant, and he's like looking for the elephant, and he gets a hold of the tail. And he's got the tail, and he feels the tail. He comes back, he said, an elephant's something long and skinny like a snake. That's what an elephant's like. And the other fellow said, no. An elephant, and the second guy, he fumbled around, and he found the leg of the elephant. He put his arms around the leg. And he said, no. An elephant is like a tree. It's huge, it's round like a tree. And the other guy, he walked around like this, and he went underneath the elephant and just touched the tummy of the elephant. And he said, no, you're both wrong. An elephant kind of floats in the air. It's this huge thing just above the ground, and that's what an elephant is. Well, each of those guys, those people, were telling the truth, right? That's what they saw an elephant look like from their point of view. The reality is they didn't see the whole elephant. And all those people that I talked to, they didn't see the whole thing. They could just see the part they looked at. Oh, you can lose money if you invest in land. I had it on Cointon. And they got the prejudices behind them. So they've got all the negatives that come up with why things won't work. So when you're convinced yourself and you make the decision in your own lives of things that you're going to do and they're going to work, you make them work, because you're the difference in making them work. And I say the path of success for Tom Brady or any of us is not easy, no matter how good a hand we're dealt in life. There's someone always smarter than you. There's someone who's always got more money than you, or is better looking than you, or they get more breaks than you get. What I want to do is, I don't want to scare you, but I want to share a portion of the high school commencement speech that was given by Chief Justice John Roberts of the United States Supreme Court. He did this at a high school last year. I believe that this speech is very unique and very different. And here's the part of it that caught my attention. And now these are the words of Justice Roberts. Now, the commencement speakers will typically also wish you good luck and extend good wishes to you. I will not do that today, and I will tell you why. From time to time in the years to come, I hope you will be treated unfairly, so that you will come to know the value of justice. I hope that you will suffer betrayal, because that will teach you the importance of loyalty. I'm sorry to say, but I hope that you'll be lonely from time to time. That will teach you not to take your friends for granted. I wish you bad luck again from time to time, so that you'll be conscious of the role of chance in life and understand that your success is not completely deserved, and that the failures of other people is not completely deserved either. And when you lose, as you will from time to time, I hope every now and then your opponent will gloat over your failure. For it's a way for you to understand the importance of sportsmanship. I hope you'll be ignored so you know the importance of listening to one's friends and one's families. I hope you will have just enough pain to learn compassion. Whether I wish these things to you or not, they are going to happen. And whether you benefit from them or not will depend upon your ability to see the message in your misfortunes. Now, we spend much of our lives trying to avoid the hard lessons that Justice Roberts talks about. Not only do we avoid these painful decisions, but we want our friends, our family members, co-workers, we want them to avoid bad things happening to them too. We want to protect the people that we care about. That's just natural. But the problem is the world is not necessarily a nice place all the time. That's the reality. Not everyone is fortunate. Not everyone has your luck. And one thinks that by eliminating bad things from your life, you automatically become happy. If you experience only success and fulfillment, that doesn't bring happiness. Life just doesn't work that way. You can't really be happy without knowing sorrow. And both of these emotions, happiness and sorrow, are interpretations of what's going on in the world around us. Sometimes people are cruel, and sometimes the world is unfair. Suck it up. That's life. The longer you live a protected life, the harder it is to deal with the inevitable stresses that life's going to bring you. The more other people take care of you, the more they shelter you from reality. And eventually, you'll get a wake-up call, and you won't know how to handle it. What I want you to take away from this is that if you're a parent, give your kids the opportunity to fail. If you need to, let them deal with the failure. You're always there, of course, to support them and watch them from a distance, but let them fail. There's a story of a butterfly was in his cocoon in a tree, and this man walked by and saw the butterfly just wiggling inside the cocoon. Thought, well, I'm going to help that butterfly, and peeled the cocoon from the butterfly to open it up and let it get away. It took the butterfly out. Of course, the butterfly was crippled. The butterfly couldn't maneuver, and it died. Why? It had to go through that struggle in the cocoon in order to learn how to survive, how to fly, and how to get there. So don't be pulling things out of their cocoons. Don't be like that man with the butterfly. You must experience pain to get the gain. And we all know that stuff, but I want to remind you of that. I talked to you as parents just a second ago, but now I'm talking to you as about managers and business owners. And if you're managing people at any level, or if you're a management trainee, or you're working, recognize that your organization is going to go through its rough patches. I don't care how prepared you are. And while you think you're protecting people from negative outcomes, the small failures you remove the opportunity for the people to experience failure and train themselves for, the tougher time they're going to have in the rough patches ahead. Because they have not had that experience of, gosh, I think I'm over my head. Well, here, when you have that moment and gosh, I'm over my head, pick up the phone and call. I think Alex said there was 27 people that you could call. And we're here. We're here only to help you achieve your success, because we're both on the same pathway of life. And we're 100% totally committed to that. Now, I want to discuss with you, before I close, on why I think that we at Dogtopia are about as prepared as we can be for that unforeseen rough patch ahead. And I say as we can be, and how we're on the path to become the most successful doggy day organization, the doggy daycare organization on the planet. And I intend to deal with the cards that we've been so blessed to receive. The card that we're so blessed to receive is the stewardship of your company. The stewardship of Dogtopia, to take it to where it rightfully belongs, to become another legendary American brand in the universe. That's the role we want to be. And we want to be a company we all be so proud to be part of, and just so excited every day, like I feel about our company. Here's some of the pluses that we have going into this battle. Because I take a look at, from the chair position, I say, well, okay, let me look at our cards. What cards have we got dealt with us to deal with realistically? Well, as we open each store is a celebration for us, because each existing franchise, it shows our customers. You felt the strength in the room here. I watched, I'll call it the old guys and the new guys, the oldies and the newbies. But all of us oldies, man, we're proud. We're feeling good with all you new faces in the room. What is it? It substantiates our belief. It's proof of concept. It's everything. And all us oldies, and I speak to all the oldie franchisees, Jeff, all of them, Susan, everybody like that, we're here for your success. Ask us anything you want to ask. I know I speak for all of us here. So we're here on this path together. You've chosen a pretty good path. My phone is open anytime, as everybody else's is. And what do we have? We got the benefit of that commitment, that total 100% all-in commitment. I always have a saying, you're not in unless you're all in. That's as simple as that. You're not in unless you're all in. We're all in. You can't be any more in than that. But what we've got a really increased brand awareness. We've got brand integrity and trust, and that's growing in the marketplace daily. We've got a higher quality employees than anybody on the planet. We've got buying power coming up. We have a great ad fund. We have more revenue. We're developing what we call a village of knowledge that's ours. And that's that's the intelligence in this room right now of what we're doing. There's nobody in the business, I don't care who they are, have got what we've got, coming from where we're coming from and going where we're going at this space in time. We're looking good. As we look at that supersonic sound going to the other airlines beside us, we're doing darn good. We have a competitive advantage, and we've got the team. I want to talk to you a bit about maybe the team that you don't know about, but as you guys can well imagine, this isn't my first rodeo. I've had several franchises. I've never lost a nickel in any franchise I've ever invested in, and of course, Century 21 Real Estate, we did have 8,000 people. We did have over 400 offices in Canada, and we did over $9 billion worth of business annually. So that was from ground up, zero start. Neil Gill, what can I say about Neil Gill? Neil's a CEO who grew an international coffee brand called Gloria Jeans from 0 to over 1,000 stores internationally, 39 countries. And I can tell you, I've worked with a lot of CEOs in my life, and I can say I've never met another CEO who was in his perfect role at a perfect time with a more perfect skill set. It just doesn't happen. I must have imagined Neil, and my dreams came true. Because, it's that's how, it couldn't be better. It just couldn't be better. And I'm 100% committed to whatever Neil wants to do to make this thing work. The directors all feel the same will. And he understands the awesome responsibility we have to all of you here. More than anybody, you can't be more that way. In our board of directors, we've got experts in franchising, real estate, and finance. And Alex just touched on it, but I thought I'd go a little bit deeper. Riaz, a very close friend of mine, Riaz Mandami, he's one board member. Well, after he got his law degree, that wasn't enough. He practiced law. Then he went back to school and thought, I'll get a chemistry degree. So he got a degree in chemistry as well. He thought he wasn't quite smart enough. Then he built one of the largest tech businesses in Canada, and he sold that, and then he went into commercial real estate. And he now has one of the most successful and profitable commercial real estate organizations in Canada. And he is totally, 100%, unequivocally committed to the success of the company. His money is where his mouth is, just like mine is. He's a partner of mine in Highland Ranch franchise. He's a partner of mine in Canada, and he's all in. From ground up, and you can't be any more all in than he is. Another director that we have, David Leonard. David was president of PetSmart, and it's public record that David oversaw the sale of that company to a venture capital group for $5.4 billion. David is on our board. He's out of the business now, he's on our board. Nice leadership to have to tell us what bumps and grinds and growth from a guy like that who's already done it. Another director is Joe Gantz. Joe is a New York financier. He's a close friend of mine for many, many years. He's managed over $5 billion worth of investment funds, still very active in the market, and recognized as one of Wall Street's most astute minds. Joe's my go-to guy if I need to talk about big money. Deanna Delia. Deanna serves on our board. She's worked with me for 10 years as the controller of my Canadian companies. Happens to be my sister-in-law, too. And I love her dearly, and I thank her for all her hours of commitment. Charlie Rhodes. Charlie's worked with me for 5 years, and he's given his business wisdom to me over the 5 years, and one of my most respected guys around me. I love Charlie, and he's on his own entrepreneurial journey now. And I'm so proud of every member of the team that we've assembled on our trip, on our Dogtopia trip. And I invite you all to say hello, and walk up and say hello to any one of those names that I've said, and who you are and where you're from. In closing, I want to share a management lesson that I learned from a goose. Ready for the goose story? As each goose flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the others behind him. There's 71% more flying range in V formation than flying alone. The lesson is that people who share a common direction and a common sense of purpose, they get there quicker. Whenever a goose flies out of formation, it quickly feels the drag and tries to get back into position. The lesson, it's harder to do something alone than to do it together. When the lead goose gets tired, it rotates back into formation and another goose takes over the lead. Lesson, shared leadership and interdependence gives us a real chance to lead as well as an opportunity to rest sometimes. The geese in formation honk from behind to encourage those in the front to keep up their speed. The lesson, we need to make sure our honking is encouraging and not discouraging. But keep on honking. When a goose gets sick or wounded, 2 geese fall out and stay with it until it either revives or it dies. And then they catch up and join up with the flock or with another flock. The lesson is stand by your colleagues in a difficult time as well as in good times. These lessons learned from Magoo's apply to all of us, all of we Dogtopians. I'm a franchisee as well. Together, let's make Dogtopia a soaring flock of franchisees, all supporting each other. I want to thank you, and I want you to have the best conference you've ever had, make new friends, and let's make 2018 another record-breaking year. Thank you.